Hey guys, today we're taking a look at what I'm going to call my Dark Magic Fusion deck. So, kind of a variation on this deck was requested by Ryan Torley and Twilly. They both kind of wanted me to use the new Dark Magician Girl fusion. So what I decided to do is make a deck that utilizes the new fusions for both Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl. Try to build it into a deck, try to throw a lot of interesting stuff in it, and try to make it work. I'm trying a lot of experimental ideas with this deck to try to make it work. So you guys can let me know what you think, but definitely not a completely final version. I'm just, throwing some things together and just seeing how they work, and I hope you guys will like the build. So first off, we're going to have 3 Elemental Hero Prisma, obviously making this deck a lot more consistent, sending things to the graveyard and making plays with Prisma, which is very, very nice. We can do a lot of really cool stuff with this in the deck. And then we're going to be running 3 Alexandrite Dragon. So we're going to be running some dragons to kind of complement the dragon side of the deck that uses Dragon Fusion. So making the deck more consistent, having it have more beaters, and just, additional stuff, which is very nice. And then we're going to be running 3 Dark Magician, allowing us to make those plays. We need Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl in order to do that. And then Dark Magician Girl, obviously, they both are pretty low on attack for their levels, but we're going to be using them to get out and bring out the fusions and make additional plays, so that's very nice. And then 2 Axe Dragonute, so another beater for dragons, just helping us out. Definitely like having dark dragons in this deck, complementing some of the more powerful bosses that we can also make use of. And then 2 Exploder Dragon, still debating this a little bit, but I really like Exploder Dragon. I really like being able to use him and blow up opponents' cards, so I definitely think he can be very useful in complementing the fact that we need dragons for the deck. But there's a bunch of other dragons out there with interesting effects, so I'm still thinking about them. And then we're going to be running 1 Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, obviously a very powerful card that can get out, just very nice to use. And then 1 Dark Arm Dragon, because we do have a good amount of dark in the deck, allowing us to make additional plays. We're also going to be doing a lot of graveyard stuff, so I really like having this in addition. Very easy to get this out. And 1 Blackluster Soldier, primarily dark and light, because we do have Prisma and Alexandrite, so another boss that we can get out pretty easily, which is very nice. It's also worth noting that pretty much all the fusions are dark, so that gives us additional plays depending on that. Now for the spells, we're going to have a good amount of spells, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in the extra deck. 2 Eye of Timaeus, allowing us to bring out these Dark Magician fusions with just Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, so very, very powerful right away. Then 2 Dragon's Mirror, very crazy for this deck because you'll be able to bring out those fusions, then bring out more fusions in addition, because those new fusions are dragons, so we're going to be making a lot of really cool plays comboing with this, bringing out multiple fusions at once, which will let us really overload the field. And then 2 Swing of Memories. So we do have Alexandrite Dragon and Dark Magician that are targets for this, allowing us to make plays from the graveyard. So very nice in combination with Prisma. We can bring back and make XYZs and just do a lot of other plays, which I really like. And then 2 Star Blast, a card that you don't see very much, but I really liked using this for this deck specifically, so we have an alternative to get out Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from the hand. I like that we have a card like Star Blast that applies to both of them. Even though it's a steep cost, I still like having that. You can run other cards, and I'll talk about that in the side deck, but again, I like having a card that will apply to both of those monsters. And then 1 Dark Hole, 1 Sage's Stone, just allowing us to bring out Dark Magician Girl and Dark Magician, which can be a powerful force on the field in combination with some of the other stuff we're trying to do. And then 1 Foolish Burial, again, graveyard stuff, very important, very good to choose what we need. And 2 MST, 2 Forbidden Lance to protect our monsters. Again, spell count is pretty high in this deck, but definitely necessary to do some of the stuff we want to do. Never the traps, pretty much stable traps. Not too much to say there. Not as much room for traps as you would want, but that's just kind of how the deck is running, and it's up to you if you want to, take out some spells and add more traps in. So now for the extra deck, we're going to have 2 of the Dark Magician Girl, Dragon Knight. Again, this can be gotten out very, very easily because it's a Dragon Fusion with Dark Magician Girl. We have a lot of different ways to get this out, and its effect is really nice that you can use it during your opponent's turn, which is very different for a fusion monster. That's usually something you'll see from, very powerful synchros and XYZs. So very, very nice. And then 2 Amulet Dragon. His effect isn't as interesting, but with the ability to banish spells, it allows us to really make Amulet Dragon's attack very, very high. And then also nice, if he does get destroyed, we can just bring back our spellcasters, which is very cool. And then we have 2 Dark Paladin. So something that people might have missed when they added some of these cards is that you could still use some of the older fusions. So you can use Eye of Timaeus with Dark Magician and bring out Dark Paladin, who is a very, very strong monster in his own right. So he can be very effective and then one 5-headed dragon, because we do have a good amount of dragons with some of the dragons we have and the fusions and things like that, so we can get this guy out late in the duel, which can be very useful. For the XYZs, we're going to have some 4-star. We do have some 4-stars and some ability to swarm. So Exciton, Silent Honor, Lavalval Chain, Gagaga, Maestroke. Lavalval Chain obviously can help us out a lot with what we want to do. One big eye in case we do get 2 Dark Magicians out, and 1 Hieratic and Felgrand, because we do have a good amount of 8-stars, so just in case to get those guys out to make big plays. So now for the side deck. If you haven't seen a video of mine before, side decks in my videos are kind of just recommended cards that can also work with the main deck. It isn't meant to be a side deck for matches, so don't try to think of it that way. These are just cards I want you to think about. So build of this deck that could definitely work is Spellbooks, so you can run Prophecies and Spellbooks and use Temperance and bring out your Spellcaster. So that's another build I might consider in the future. That'll also be very spell card heavy. Armageddon Knight, Dark Greph are both very useful to do additional plays for this deck. You can run, other dragons that are useful. I recommend dragons that are dark. So Evil Swarm as a Hawk is pretty nice, but with XYZs nowadays, it isn't as useful as you would hope. Still can be nice. And Sorcerer of Dark Magic, you could definitely bring this out with some plays. You could do Dark Magician Girl and Sage of Stone, and then you can bring out this card. So still can be very, very useful. I really like this card a lot, so if you want to use it, the option's definitely there. Another fusion you could use is this Dark Flare Knight, but he's very weak and you probably will have to run Mirage Knight, so you can do additional plays with that, but it's up to you. And if you run this, you might be able to run more 6-star XYZs in combination with Dark Magician Girl. If you run more Dark, Master Key Beetle can be useful to protect especially your powerful fusions. Dark Magician of Illusions is a very interesting card that I really want to run at some point. So it's OCG now. When it comes out, if it comes out, I definitely want to be able to run it, so could be useful for this deck. Tribute Doll, another way to get out Dark Magician if you want to try that. Cost Down, Summoner's Art, Fires of Doomsday, all things that help you, search out Dark Magician, summon him, and things like that. Cost Down is worth noting that it's not going to obviously be used usually to summon Dark Magician. It can be, but what you can do with it is discard Dark Magician and then summon Dark Magician Girl, and she'll be a little stronger. So there's some additional plays you could do there. Fires of Doomsday obviously could be very useful to bring out Dark Magician, but it's not really the way we're trying to go with this deck. There's some new fusion support cards that were added, like Battle Fusion, which could be interesting with a deck like this that focuses on some of the fusions. And Magical Dimension is another card. Because we're running like Spellcaster Dragon Hybrid, I don't know if I'd run this, but definitely up to you. And Grissal Prison is always a really cool card you can run if you're focusing on fusions, so that can be a really nice one to lock down your opponent. So that's my Dark Magic fusion deck that I'm calling it. Again, very experimental, messing with some ideas. I hope the people that requested it like what I'm trying to do, but I'm still going to experiment with it later and update it and try out some new ideas as I go along. But thank you for the request. If you do have a request for me, just hit the request link at the end of this video and post your request there and I'll consider it. But as always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later.